Welcome back. All right, so we're going to review the first two games, and then the Dallas-Seattle recap will be later on. So we're going to talk about these two, starting off with Buffalo and Toronto. And this game really about momentum swings. So the first period, very entertaining. Um, Craig Anderson, he's pretty good against Toronto. Eh? So it's Anderson versus Murray. Gergensons crashes into the Leafs net, and the first thought I had was, are they going to try to penalize Murray? Remember, Murray was knocking the net off, and the league was looking at it. I thought, if you're an opposing player and you knock the net off, but it's behind Murray, is that his fault? Anyways, Cousins has a net feed that's cleared. No shots on net for either team at 3:30. Gergensons putting himself in the net doesn't count as a shot. Kerfoot fires one wide on a fast break. McCabe has a shot that's held. The shots on net are 3-0 Leafs at 5.5 minutes. They had the clear edge, I thought, to that point in the game. Nylander breaks up a net feed for the Sabres. Then there's a press by Buffalo at 8.5 minutes. That was Murray's first test of the game. He passes that there. Tuck has a rush chance that's held. Giordano fires one wide as the Leafs press. Shots are 8-1 for Toronto with 9.5 minutes left. Anderson, honestly, his record against Toronto is pretty good, and it was good again tonight. McCabe fires one high. The Sabres clear. Labushkin then has a blast that's kicked aside. Dahlin and Matthews renewing their familiarity with one another, their acquaintances. Middlestead has a chance to deflect out. There's some pushing. With 2:48 left, the Leafs get a power play. Good kill. Leafs cycle late in that, but it's cleared. That kills it off. So it's scoreless after one. Second period. 1 minute and 11 seconds in, after a 2-on-1 rush, Matthews buries one, Kerfoot and Marner with the assists. Okposo has a blast that saved the Sabres with press after, but at 4:13, on what I think was their third shot of the period, second or third, because they only had three in the period, Yarncroke puts one through Anderson on a turnover. Marner and Matthews with the assist. So Toronto's up 2-0. And so that was a turnover chance. The other one's a 2-on-1, so usually turnovers as well. And so Toronto taking advantage of some errors by Buffalo early on in the second period. We then get a power play for the Sabres. The Leafs clear it out early. Thompson rushes. Leafs clear again. It's killed off, just the two shots. Jokiharju fires one high on a turnover chance. The Sabres press at the half. Bunting to Yarncroke pass. That was blocked out. The shots are on net are 9-3 Buffalo with 7.5 minutes left. But the only two goals in the game to that point are by Toronto. Power play for the Sabres. Thompson has a shot that's held. That power play is killed off. Two shots. Not long after it ends, though, Jack Quinn scores from Peterka and Power at 14:59. So there's kids combining on that one. He batted his own rebound out of the air there, and then the Sabres looked to tie it. The Leafs were stuck on three shots for quite a while in that period. Pressed by the Sabres with 3 minutes left, Gergensons has a rush chance that deflects out, and the refs are letting things go. And it was for both teams. I know fans are going to be complaining about one thing that wasn't called, or this or that wasn't called. They really were letting things go for both teams, so it's 2-1 Toronto after the second period. Third period, Nylander couldn't bury one on a net drive. Bunting has a net feed, that's blocked. The shots on net are 2-0 Leafs at 3.5 minutes, but Alex Tuck ties the game from Thompson and Power at 3:39. Kind of fools Murray from the side of the net. He roofed it. Good pass by Thompson. And so even though Toronto was outplaying him to that point in the third period, all of a sudden it's a tie game. Kerfoot then has a chance that's held. Tavares can't bury rebound as the Leafs are pressing. Shots are 6-1 Toronto at 6 minutes, but that one shot for Buffalo went in the net. Near miss for Giordano. Gustafsson has a chance. That's held. The Leafs press at 7.5 minutes, but at 9:39, on a brief press by Buffalo, so it's just taking advantage of opportunities, Cousins gives them their first lead of the night from Stillman and Peterka. So power play then for the Devils. Two early clears for Toronto. Thompson is denied. They cycle, and eventually it's Tuck with his second of the game. This is his, I believe, 30th of the season. I know he scored his 30th. I think it was the 29th and then the 30th, not 30th and 31st. But at any point, yeah, that was his 30th. I've got it right on the board. Read the note, Shannon. So Skinner and Cousins with the assists at 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Then it's a one-timer in close. Not much chance for Murray there. Krebs then has a rush chance that's saved. As now Buffalo's up 3-2 and they're trying, or 4-2. They're trying to make it worse. Bunting is then robbed on a 2-0. Like, no idea how Anderson saves that. Leafs press with 4.5 minutes left. The goaltender gets pulled with 4 minutes left because they need two. With 1:43 left, the Sabres are guilty of an icing. The Leafs do call a timeout. With 1:27 left, the Sabres ice it again. And then at 18:58, the game gets a little bit closer. It's Nylander from Matthews. So suddenly it's 4-3, and he wired that one top corner on a net drive. Sabres, though, they managed to hang on. There were opportunities for Toronto late, but Buffalo wins this one 4-3. They go to 33, 28, and 5. They keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Toronto 40, 18, and 8 with the loss. Not a huge deal with the loss. They're still 4 points ahead of Tampa. They're 17 points behind Boston. They weren't catching Boston anyways. At any rate, the shots on net 12-3 Toronto in the first, 17-3 Buffalo in the second, and then 13-9 Toronto in the third. Final shots 29-28 for Buffalo. Power plays, the Sabres 1 for 3, Toronto 0 for 1. The hits 30-24 for Toronto. Anderson saves 25 out of 28. Murray saved 25 out of 29. All right, and then this just absolutely ridiculous game, Colorado in against the Montreal Canadiens. And of course, I'm using the reverse retro magnet, so they're winless when I use the reverse retro magnet. Makes sense, they were winless when they wore the jersey itself. Georgiev versus Allen. This is the return of Lehkonen to Montreal. He didn't finish the game, though, so we'll see what kind of injury we're dealing with Lehkonen. Malgin fires one wide during an early back and forth, but at 2:59, through a screen, O'Connor scores. Taves with the assist. That was the second shot of the game for Colorado. Hoffman's denied as the Habs get some momentum, but at 6:09, a beast mode goal for Bowen Byram. Gerard with the assist. He just goes around Allen and puts it in. No chance for Jake Allen there. McKinnon fires one high in a net drive. The Habs are on their heels. They get their first press of the game at 7.5 minutes. That seemed to upset Colorado. The puck goes the other way, and Nieto's just allowed to walk in and bury it at 8:05. Eller and O'Connor with the assists, and that's only the sixth shot of the game for Colorado. 3 of them have gone in the net. Halfway through the period, the shots are 6-1, so that's the same as it was in a few minutes earlier. Habs wake up. They start throwing some hits, controlling the puck a little bit in that second half. Richard has a fast break. That's defended. Matheson has a net feed that's blocked. We get a power play for the Avs. Rantanen fires one wide, but on that power play, Lehkonen would score from Rantanen and Makar at 16 minutes. So now it's 3-0. The Habs get a power play with 3:12 left. It cycles. The Avs clear it out. That's killed off. And then at 18:58, they get a goal anyways. So not long after that power play ends, Josh Anderson with his 20th of the season. He scores that one from Kovacevic and Suzuki. The Avs look to answer. They're up 4-1 after the first period. Second period, the Avs press early and they score. 1:48 in, it's Rantanen from Rodriguez and Taves. He buries that one in close. The Habs press for an answer. This is where they tell us that Rem Pitlick wouldn't return to the game for Montreal. Shots are 4-1 for the Avs at 3.5 minutes, and then it's another rebound, and it's another goal from in close. This is really about the structure on the defense. There wasn't any for Montreal, and Allen was kind of on his own. Compher scores to make it a 6-1 score from Nichushkin and Lehkonen at 3:58. So at this point in the game, Montembeault goes in. The Avs have 6 goals. Montreal has 4 shots in the entire game. So really, this is just a brutal, brutal game at this point for Montreal. Pressed by the Avs at 7 minutes, 5 shots from Montreal halfway through the game. That's it. They would end up with 19 overall, but they had 5 in the first half of the game. So the Avs press with 9.5 minutes left. Malgin has a shot that's held. Great puck control by the Avs to this point in the game. Kovacevic has a shot that's held. Quiet night for Georgiev so far. It might have knocked him off his game. Maybe he was a little bit rusty because eventually the puck starts going in. Things get punchy with 1:14 left in front of the Habs bench. Montreal comes out with a power play on that. And Gurianov scores the power play marker from Suzuki and Drouin at 19 minutes and 18 seconds. So that one's through a screen. Gurianov's fit in quite well with Montreal. Good to see. So the score after 2 periods is it's a lot to 2 in favor of Colorado. Third period, early jump for the Avs. Things get pushy on a hold for Georgiev. Newhook has a blast saved as the Avs press. Post for Anderson then as the Habs get some opportunities. Lehkonen, this is where they announced he wouldn't return. It's an upper body injury. Usually means shoulder, or concussion's the other one. So the Habs press at 6.5 minutes. They end up getting the Avs end up getting a power play and they score on it. It's McKinnon, beast mode on this one too. So again, when Colorado scored, they're almost all highlight reel goals. It's McKinnon from Makar and Nichushkin at 8:09. Belzile nearly answers, and then Weidman does. He gets his first goal since April of last year. Belzile with the assist at 8:48. And then at 10:35, Matheson makes this one a little bit closer from Josh Anderson and David Savard. The Avs press to respond. Anderson's denied. Georgiev holds on. The Avs then get a power play, and they score on it. Compher gets that one from Rodriguez at 13:09. Good little cycle there, and it's buried. Then we had a fight between Byram and Pezzetta. Nichushkin has a net drive that's held late in the game, but the Avs end up winning this one 8-4. So with this win, Colorado jumps back past Winnipeg into third place in the division. Winnipeg drops back to the number 2 wildcard spot, which means if you're a fan of either Nashville or Calgary, that's one more point now between them and the playoffs. So Colorado goes to 37-22-6 with the win. For the Montreal Canadiens, 26-35-6 with, what is it, their 7th loss in a row. It's really gone off the rails for Montreal, as can be expected after the deadline. Shots on net, 9-3 Colorado in the first, 16-6 Colorado in the second, and then Montreal outshoots them 10-8 in the third. Final shots, 33-19 for Colorado. Power plays, Colorado scored on all 3 power plays. Montreal was 1 for 2. The hits, 23-6 for Montreal because Colorado had the puck a lot, so they didn't have to throw very many hits. Georgiev saves 15 out of 19. Sloppy stat line for him. Allen saves 9 out of 15, and then Montembeault saves 16 out of 18. The bad news is, too, Montreal tomorrow night, they're in Pittsburgh, so we'll see how that goes. All right, let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.